Back to Bob Lazar and Gene Huff. Bob, I'm curious. I'm told that you're not going to do many interviews, or perhaps not any, after this one. What's going on?
Well, what happened is actually, believe it or not, there's someone trying to call. Yeah, Gene actually knows more about this than I do.
Well, you know, when they optioned my screenplay, Art, they, you know, Bob's story has been owned by two separate movie studios who, for whatever unknown reason, have not allowed the movie to make it to the screen.
Well, that was basically because of me, because they kept turning down their screenplay.
Yeah, you know, Bob, he gives them freedom in a straitjacket. I mean, he won't allow them to do all the outrageous things they need to do, and so there was long bargaining. This studio wants to get the movie on the screen, and they want Bob to give them his attention, and they want him to be actively involved as a technical consultant on the movie. And Bob never does any interviews anyway, so it wasn't much of a demand. He never goes anywhere, so he agreed to it to give them the impact if they're going to spend tens of millions of dollars to get a realistic portrayal of his movie on the screen. They'd like him to wait and I guess do the rounds when the movie comes out.
Well, so it's a rare opportunity. Yeah. I want to thank you both. All right, some very fast technical questions. If you don't know the answers, Bob, just say no. Are gravity waves a broadband or narrowband phenomena? Well,
they're actually a narrowband phenomena, but they're not just a simple electromagnetic wave. It seems to be a complex emission, and that's about all I can say in a short time about them.
All right. What is their frequency or wavelength, or was there a way of measuring that?
Well, there was. It's not really a set, as I said, frequency or wavelength, but there was an apparent... I wish this person would stop trying to...
Yeah, indeed.
There was an apparent carrier wave, and that was, I believe, of extremely low frequency. Not to say that this is the gravitational wave, but it was in the area of 7.46 or 7.2. Do you remember what the exact number was, Gene?
Yeah, 7.46 hertz at a 1 micron bandwidth or something like that.
All right.
Yeah. At almost 3 o'clock in the morning, my IQ drops about 50 points.
Maybe together we could get one answer out of it.
Is gravity radiation coherent?
Yes, it is.
Can you draw a schematic or block diagram of the propulsion system? The answer to that has to be yes. You've done it.
Yes, absolutely.
What level of power is produced during travel? Kilowatts, megawatts, gigawatts, or measurements that we don't have to express?
No, it's gigawatts.
Gigawatts.
I mean, it's a huge, and that's the way the craft runs is the reactor actually operates at its full potential always. The way they, if you want to use the term throttle the power, is they change the phase of the amplifiers themselves, but the reactor is always outputting its maximum. All right,
so that answers my next one, which was what is the duty cycle, peak average power, and duration of output? So it's always at full output.
Right.
Is there?
However, I do have to say that when all three amplifiers are being used for the delta mode of travel, they do not operate continuously. In other words, if the craft was sitting here locally in our local system, you can't make a jump, or you can't distort space from here to 30 light years out. This has to be done in several consecutive jumps, and there is apparently a recycle time, on the system.
And they're pulsed, right?
Yeah, they're pulsed, and again, we're working against the 3 o'clock IQ drop here, but I'm trying to remember. We even calculated the recycle time on them because we wanted to find out what the actual travel time would be, and adding, I can't remember if it's microseconds or milliseconds, but what we'll do in the future is, should we ever get the guys to update our webpage, is post some of this information, some more of the technical stuff
that'd be
for
great.
The people that are interested in it.
right, is there a relatively simple antenna detector that one might use with a receiver or spectrum analyzer to capture gravity waves?
No, absolutely not.
What EM effects are produced near an operating saucer?
Well, dramatic ones. Anything you'd see around any sort of electromagnetic pulse, but you see a tremendous electromagnetic disturbance. Actually, you have an optical disturbance too, and
wow.
one that is quite fascinating. If you are directly under the craft, you will only see the sky above it, and here again is what I was describing as the bending of light. This is also a potential fantastic camouflage. Should we be able to duplicate a system like this for military vehicles and what have you, because the way the gravitational field is formed around the craft, the light is bent around it too. So looking up directly at the craft, you
wouldn't
only
see
the
it.
sky. To actually see it, you need to step back out of the field. Well,
right.
You're not really in the field, but if you kind of see what I mean there. There are from certain viewpoints, the craft is completely invisible.
All right. Do gravity waves intermodulate radio or light waves in any way?
Do they intermodulate radio and light waves in any way?
How would you know?
I guess you wouldn't.
Well, I'm trying to guess here how that might happen. Well, I imagine they would, because what you're doing is you're distorting. Well, is that true? I don't know for sure, so I guess I don't want to guess.
That's an answer.
Yeah.
Here's one that I don't understand. You might. Referring to the candle experiment, does the flame continue to radiate heat as well as light when it's frozen? Why or why not?
This is something that still to this day makes absolutely no sense to me, and I saw it, so this has aggravated me and probably will forever. One of the experiments they showed me, if you remember, I mentioned the producing a localized distortion, producing a black dot.
Yes.
What the other experiment Barry performed for me was putting a candle in that space. And what he did was, I really don't recall if he pulsed the emitter at a lower power, a higher power, or it was probably at a lower distortion. But the candle flame continued to emit light, but the flame stopped flickering, as if it was frozen in time.
Ooh, that's weird.
Now, I would, believe me, this is quite beyond weird.
Were you close enough to feel heat?
No, and I don't think anyone was brave enough to stick their hand in that general area either. Who knows what it would be like? But the fact is, if there was a localized gravity distortion, obviously there was, and if there was a localized distortion in time, why is there light being emitted? I mean, there's
right.
something here that doesn't make any sense at all, and this has really driven me crazy. And I can't. So, yeah, is there heat emitted? Boy, I would really love to know myself.
Wouldn't it indicate that,
actually,
we don't know as much about photons as we thought we did?
Well, really, we don't know. And when it comes right down to it. But obviously, if we're seeing, photons emitted in our normal optical bandwidth, there's nothing to tell me that they wouldn't be in the infrared bandwidth, which is heat also. So my guess is that there would be heat, but I would certainly love to have that demonstrated to me again and really observe that.
You observed only one propulsion system, correct?
One propulsion system.
In other words, one type.
Right. Well, from what I understood, there was only one type.
All right. Do the saucers have a communication, or did they seem to have any sort of communication system that you could perceive?
No. Again, however, this brings up another point. When I did see one of the craft tests flown,